20 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 21 is on page 32. Prosecution of offences. Yeah. 613. It's on page 33. Those who are at clause 21 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, any the ayes have it. Clause 22 is amending section 64 on page 3. Those who are at clause 22 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, any the ayes have it. Clause 23 is amending section 68. General penalties, I think the principal act says any person convicted for an offense under this act, for which no penalty is specifically provided, shall be liable to a fine not exceeding 10,000 naira or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years, or both. Did we amend the 10,000 naira? That's too small now. 250,000, yeah. Okay, those in favor that clause 23 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, any the ayes have it. Clause 24 on page 35. That amends Section 70. Section 70 of the Principal Act is amended by substituting the word chairman for the word commission. The chairman of the commission may make rules for giving effect to the provisions of this act and without prejudice to the generality of these provisions may make rules providing for the form of any notice, order, declaration, or any other matter under this act for the service or delivery order. No, that's the amendment. The committee has amended that. Chairman for substituting the word chairman for the word commission. I think that's okay. But that's what they have done. But that's what is there. No, that is what is there. They are recommending that we change the chairman to commission. Is that not what we are saying? No. If you look at, you say you will amend 70 by removing the chairman. So it will be the committee. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I think they are trying to abridge what they are. The other one they will say, delete the words, the chairman of. Delete the word, the chairman of. Of the, yes. Okay. The word chairman of the. That's what they would have said, and that would have been very simple. I've done amendment now. That's amendment now. Yes. Yeah.
Mr. President, I second the motion heavily moved by Secretary.
Sorry. Those who are the schedules. Those against saying the ayes have it. Those who are the explanatory memorandum on page 37 stands part of the bill say aye. Those against saying the ayes have it. Those who are the long title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against saying the ayes have it. Leader of the Senate, Plenary.
President, distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate reverts to plenary for the chair to report progress.
The minority leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the Senate do revert to plenary for the chair to report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate reverts to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes on the Independent Corrupt Practices ICPC Act Amendment Bill 2023 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, Clause 1 as amended, Clause 2 to 3 as recommended, Clause 4 as amended, Clause 5 to 12 as recommended, Clause 13 to 14 as amended, Clause 15 to 16 as recommended, Clause 17 as amended, Clause 18 to 24 as recommended, short title as recommended, schedule as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Leader of the Senate, third reading.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I move that this bill be now read the third time.
The minority leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that this bill be now read a third time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that this bill be now read the third time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill finalized to amend the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission ICPC Act and for other related matters 2023, third reading.
Distinguished colleagues, to amend the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission ICPC Act and for other related matters 2023, third reading taken, and this bill is passed. Well, thank you very much, distinguished colleagues, for the very painstaking. Sergeant Adams, please close the door. For the very painstaking manner that this report has been treated. It is our hope and, in fact, conviction that this will make ICPC better. But, of course, we expect that when the implementation of the new act or the amended act will start, we might find it necessary to fine-tune again some of those provisions that may appear to be the weakest link in the chain. But I believe that we have done a very good job by then doing the kind of scrutiny we did. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the third order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the reports of the Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and the Public Petition in respect of petition from Major Taiwo Keke Omotade against the Nigerian Army over his alleged arbitrary compulsory retirement from service by the Nigerian Army in 2022. The other petition is from Chief Orodo Danielson on behalf of Makaraba community against Chevron Limited, CNL, for reneging in payment of arrears of land OML 49, leased by Chevron Nigeria Limited in 1978 from the community and the non-provision of corporate social responsibility by the company. And petition from Sopana S. Ogidi of Manigal and the company on behalf of Madame Obinami Sunday and Madame Sister Friday Obi and the entire Odu community against Shell Petroleum Development Company Limited, SPDC, Nigerian Egypt Oil Company, NAOC, and the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSDRA, for alleged destruction of cash crops, economic trees, desecration of shrines, etc., due to the construction of gas pipeline right of way undertaken by Daewoo, DN47 and NOOC at Mbiama base without compensation. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Akinyele Patrick Ayo to move the motion for the Senate to receive and consider the report of the committee.
Very distinguished Senator Patrick Ayo Akinyelure, Ondo Central.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name remains Senator Ayo Akinyelure, representing Ondo Central. Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petition in respect of one, petition from Mr. Major Taiwo Keke Omotade against Nigerian Army over his alleged arbitrary by the Nigerian Army in 2022. Two, petition from Chief Orodo Danielson on behalf of Makaraba community against Chevron Limited CNL for reneging in payment of arrears of land, Makaraba oil field OML 49, leased by Chevron Nigeria Limited in 1978 from the community and non-provision of corporate social responsibility by the company. And finally, Mr. President, petition from Sapona S. Ogidi of Omegoni and Company on behalf of Madam Abinami Sunday and Madam Sister Friday Obi and Entire Odua Community against Shell Petroleum Development Company, SPDC, Nigerian Egypt Oil Company, NAOC, and National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSDRA, for alleged destruction of cash crops, economic trees, desecration of insurance, etc., due to construction of gas pipeline right of way undertaken by Daewoo, DN47, and NAOC at Mbiama base without compensation. I so move, Mr. President.
Is any of the... No, it's presentation, right? No, it's... I need a seconder, actually. I need a seconder. Distinguished Senator Ibrahim Kabirga, Kano South.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to second the motion moved by Patrick Ayo. The Senate to do receive and consider the report of the committee petitions as raised. Thank you. You will be on 2. I will escort you. Chief Whip, I will escort you. The Chief Whip is leaving, you can't allow him to go alone.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the reports of the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions in respect of the 3 items, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Chairman, you may lay the reports, please. You can present the reports.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name remains Senator Joaquin Enre, representing Ondo Central. Report of Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition in respect of a petition from Major Taiwo Keke Omotade against the Nigerian Army over his alleged arbitrary compulsory retirement from service by the Nigerian Army in 2022. Preamble. The Senate will recall that on Tuesday, 1st March 2022, the chairman of the committee rose on Order 40 to release the committee from the office of the President of the Senate and due the attention from service by the Nigerian Army in 2022. And urged the Senate to look into the matter. In line with Order 43, the Senate referred the matter to the Committee on Ethics, Privilege and Public Petition for detailed investigation and further legislative action. Mr. President, after receiving submission from the petitioner and the respondent, Nigerian Army, the committee came with the following findings and observations. On page 6, Mr. President, after careful studying the presentation made by Taiwo Keke Omotade and the Nigerian Army, the committee observed as follows. 1. That Major Keke Omotade was a major in the Nigerian Army, and he served gallantly for 15 years with commendation and awards from the Nigerian Army before he was abruptly retired in 2022. That while in the Nigerian Army, he attended senior and South College Jaji in 2017-2018 session, where he complained of being victimized in his result despite his brilliant performances at the college, and therefore he wrote a letter of redress in this respect. 3. That as a result of 2 above, his ordeal in Nigerian Army started. He was arraigned before a court martial in the Army headquarters, 1st Division Nigerian Army, Kaduna, for insubordination to his superiors, outright disrespect to constitutional authority, gross misconduct, and open resistance to arrest by assaulting provost officers, and consequently was declared insane, sedated, stripped of his rank, chained hands and legs for several days, and moved to a psychiatric hospital in chains. 4. that on return from the hospital, after being certified by a medical doctor that he had no mental issues, he was further tortured, chained hands and legs, and sent to guard room for several days that resulted to his embarking on a hunger strike. 5, that there were pictorial evidences of handcuffing, chaining, and torture of Major Keke Omatade by the personnel of Nigerian Army without any justification. 6, that his request for documents and items to enable him defend himself at the court martial attracted new charges against him and was again detained in guard room, which prompted the withdrawal of his lawyers at the court martial in order not to be part of the injustice and irregularity against him. 7, that all his entreaties to Nigerian Army authorities to give him fair hearing at the court martial was not granted, but was directed to submit to the court martial despite being a continuation of injustice against him. 8, that instead of maintaining the status quo pending the determination of the court or the conclusion of the court martial, he was served with a alleged incompetence and indolence without no warning, no query, or documented evidence of such incompetence and indolence against him. Finally, Mr. President, that he had performed credibly well in operations, courses, etc., and have received many awards and commendations from Nigerian Army for his gallantry for the 15 years already spent in the service of Nigerian Army. Recommendation, Mr. President. In view of the finding above, the committee hereby recommends as follows: that the Senate do direct the Chief of Army Staff to revisit the matter, reinstate Major Taiwo Keke Omatade back to service, pay all his entitlement to date because due process were not followed, and that the petitioner was not given fair hearing by Nigerian Army authorities before he was hurriedly retired from the service of Nigerian Army. Conclusion, Mr. President, most distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privilege and Public Petitions, we appreciate the Senate President and leader of the Senate Senate for opportunity given to us to serve in this capacity as the voice of the voiceless Nigerian. Number 2, report of Senate Committee on Ethics, Privilege and Public Petitions. In respect of petition from Chief Orodo Danielson on behalf of Makaraba Community against Chevron Nigeria Limited, CNL, for reneging the payment of arrears of land, Makaraba Oil Field, OML 49, leased by Chevron Nigeria Limited in 1978 from the community and non-provision of corporate social responsibility by the company. Preamble. The Senate Committee will recall that on 15 March 2022, the Civil Secretary rose on Order 40 to lay petitions referred to his committee from the Office of the President of the Senate and drew the attention of the Senate to a petition from Chief Orodo Danielson against Chevron Nigeria Limited for reneging in payment of arrears of land, Makaraba Oil Field OML 49, leased by Chevron Nigeria Limited in 1978 from the committee and non-provisions of corporate social responsibility by the company to the committee, and urge the Senate to look into the matter. This petition was accordingly referred to the committee for further legislative action. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, after hearing from both the respondent and the petitioner, the committee came out with the following findings and observations. Summarized from observation 5.0, that Chevron Nigeria Limited started its operations in Makaraba Community, Makaraba Oil Field, OML 49 in 1978. That since Chevron Nigeria started its operation in the community, there was no non-payment made by the company to the community for over 43 years for the land of the community it occupied for its oil production activities. 3, the Makaraba Community position is that Makaraba Oil Field, OML 49, was on lease to CNL since 1978, while CNL insists that it made outright acquisition of the oil field from the community. 4, that CNL as a corporate entity cannot provide any documented evidence showing that the oil field was acquired by them outrightly, but insists that it had no history of leasing anywhere it operates. 5, that the Makarako Committee provided to the committee an affidavit sworn at the High Court in Warri, Delta State in 2020, stating and CNN in 1978 was lost through the fire incident. 6, that the continued refusal of CNN to engage its host community, Makaraba community, in a meaningful and rewarding settlement of the claim of the community, where it has been doing business for over 43 years without making effort towards ameliorating their sufferings, may threaten the peaceful coexistence of both parties, which may result to a huge revenue deficit of Nigeria from the oil industry. 7, that despite the demand made by the committee for Chevron Nigeria Limited to provide evidence and acquisition of state land, CNN refused to provide evidence, but insisted that the land was acquired from Makaraba community many years ago. The committee therefore found no truth in the claim of Chevron Nigeria Limited, since as a corporate legal entity cannot even provide evidence of payments as low as £1 or £1 as evidence of acquisition of the land, where they have operated for 43 years to date. The committee therefore ruled that in the interest of justice and fair play, Chevron Nigeria Limited should sit with the Makaraba community to agree on modalities of working together and forward the basis of settlement amicably with the whole community to the committee. The committee adjourned more than 4 times for EU to be resolved, but CNN refused bluntly to agree to any settlement proposal with the Makaraba community. 8, that several directors of the committee of the Senate to both CNN representatives to sit with Makaraba community representatives for amicable settlement of the EU and claims raised in the petition in order to ensure peaceful coexistence with the community were neglected by CNN more than 4 times without meaningful settlement proposal from CNN to the adopted delay tactics for the expiration of the next Senate to come without making any meaningful proposal to the Makaraba committee for onward transmission to this committee to resolve the issue before the Senate amicably. Hence, the committee based its recommendation on the facts before it. And 10, that should CNN make a reasonable financial settlement and provide some social amenity that CSR in the areas for the past 43 years of its operation in the environment, subsequent years of its activity in the area will now be taken care of by the Petroleum Industrial Act 2020. Recommendation. In view of the findings above, the committee hereby recommends the following: that the Senate to direct Chevron Nigeria Limited, CNL, to pay land rent as computed and demanded on OML 49 for the past 43 years of its operation in Makaraba community for 1,000 acres of land occupied by Chevron Nigeria Limited, since CNL could not provide any evidence of acquisition of the said land as claimed before the committee of the Senate, in the interest of justice, fair play, and peaceful coexistence between CNL Limited and Makaraba Committee in Delta State of Nigeria. And finally, Mr. President, that the Senate do urge the Makaraba Committee and Chevron Limited to maintain peaceful coexistence henceforth, now that the provisions of Petroleum Industrial Act, PIA, will now guide their operations with the whole community. Finally, Mr. President, the last report is the report of Committee on Ethics, Privilege and Public Petitions in respect of petition from Sabona S. Ogidi of Maniego and Company on behalf of Madam Abinami Sandy and Madam Sister Friday Obi and the Interior Adult Community SPDC, Nigeria Ajib Oil Company NAOC, and Nigeria OSP Detection and Response Agency NOSRA for alleged destruction of cash crops, economic trees, desecration of shrines, etc., due to construction of gas pipeline right of way undertaken by Dewu DNA 47 and now at Mbiama base without compensation. Preamble. The Senate will record that on Tuesday, 24 November 2020, the committee chairman rose on Order 41 to lay petition referred to the committee from the Office of Treasury of the Senate, and due the attention of the Senate to a petition from Sapona S. Ogidi and so, as read earlier. And after careful submission from both the respondent and the petitioner, the committee also came with the following findings and observation on page 7. After careful studying the presentation, Mr. President, made by Sapona S. Ogidi, Shell Petroleum Development Company SPDC, National OSP Detection and Regulatory Agency, NOSDRA, the committee observed as follows. 1. That the petitioner, Sapona S. Ogidi and Meniago and Company, could not substantiate his claim with document for damage of farmland and other ancestral heritages against Shell Petroleum Development Company Limited, SPDC. Then, Nigeria Agip Company Limited, NAOC, and National OSP Detection and Response Agency, NOSDRA, to warrant payment of compensation he was claiming before the committee. 2. That the inability of the petitioner to substantiate his claims against SPDC, NAOC, the DNA lack of evidence of damage done to their environment, compounded matter, and that was the reason the SPDC now paid any compensation to the committee to date. That the issue of flooding complaint about by the petitioner was not within the purview of oil company, but that of the Department of Federal Ministry of Environment. Recommendation. Based on the findings above, Mr. President, the committee hereby recommends as follows. 1. That the Senate to urge Sapona S. Ogidi to gather all his documents of claims with evidence of destruction done to his client's cash, crops, economic trees, non-timber forest products, desecration of shrines and age-long cultural and traditional heritage, and submit them to Shell Petroleum Development Company, SPDC, Nigerian Agip Oil Company, NAOC, and National OSP Decision and Response Agency for payment of compensation. And 2, that the Senate do urge SPDC, NAOC, NOSDRA to pay reasonable compensation for all proven cases of damage done to their environment and crops. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I therefore move and submit that the following, the three report will be considered by the Senate of Federal Republic of Nigeria. I so move, sir.
Thank you very much, distinguished chairman. We start with the first report in respect of a petition from Major Taiwo KK Omotade against the Nigerian Army. We go to the recommendation on page 8 of the report. The committee here recommends as follows: that the Senate do direct the Chief of Army Staff to revisit the matter, reinstate Major Taiwo KK Omotade back to service, pay all his entitlements to date.
The Senate, that we have earlier taken decision that matters relating to military should not be subject to debate, particularly if decisions are taken in line with the Army Act. And in this Senate, we said we should refrain from interfering in the disciplinary measures taken by the military authorities. Otherwise, it will undermine the discipline and the hierarchical command of the Army. So I'm against this recommendation, Mr. President, based on the earlier decision we have taken.
Well, thank you very much, distinguished Alero, but I hold a different opinion about this. The Army, or indeed any institution, has processes and procedures. The Army is governed by laws, and if someone comes to the Senate to seek for redress, claiming or alleging that the laws that should govern the case were not applied, or due process was not followed, I think this Senate should look into the matter, look at what the Army law says. If there was compliance, we dismiss the case. But if there was no compliance, the Army is not They are human beings. They are human beings. So, in fact, maybe what will